enjoy your date last night, Legend Bringer? It wasn't a date, Trixie. She didn't classify it as such. All that happened was that me and Applejack enjoyed a walk through the apple fields, picking some apples together. Okay, she did most of the bucket. I just caught some fruit in the basket. We talked about our jobs. We talked about what was going on in our lives, and then I walked her home, and she thanked me, and that was it. She really didn't see it as a date. She just saw it as a walk with friends. You do know friend zone is a thing, right? Oh, yeah, I know that. Besides, that was about as close to a date as I could get! Hell yeah! Woo! And now the bad news. We still got Fic to do. Thanks for reminding me, Trixie! Hey, it's what Trixie's here for. Enjoy. Oh, what was that? I don't know. Let me go check. Sorry about that, folks. Barry Punch was outside the door. She had apparently a fun time and was looking for Ruby. Ruby's fine. So, who's got a story? Rainbow Daz asked. Mine might need a little work. One of the traveling conversations had turned into a flank rustling lesson regarding wanted cruelty to the common comma. In retrospect, bringing half the first draft of Volume 1, not a good idea. Especially for Twilight, who read as much as he could stand when her headache before beginning the harsh edits. To wit, 3 paragraphs. Something was meant to be paragraphs, without quite making it. I got a new one, Emo Pinky happily declared. Cranky taught me some donkey legends. Have you ever heard of the travels of Don Quixote? Oh no, Applebot groaned. Not a donkey story. Emo Pinky fixed Applejack with a sudden hard stare, which had to cross. And what you got against donkeys? A fast defensive. Nothing. It's just that, their stories I the same way, badly. Everybody dies, or everybody was just dreaming the whole time, and their lives are all miserable. Their lovers find each other till one of them dies out of nowhere, or they both do, and that is the stinker. Where one is killed and is full self thinking the other was dead, then she wakes up and sees he's dead. So she lies down and dies next to him. Then both their families get mad and they all kill each other. It ain't a donkey story unless there's a pile of bodies in the middle of the last page and every surviving character is so depressed they're fixing to join them. This was really fun and got all sorts of comedy in it. I don't want to ruin the best part. Well, just wait until you hear the bit with the windmill. Yeah, how does it end? And that ended the longest exchange Twilight had seen Emo Pinky and Applebot have had since they made camp. The Airponies had worked hard to keep clean the ground in a small clearing, ring a fire pit with rocks, and Applebot had raked an Airpony fire starter stick to get the actual blaze going with. They were already working to conserve Noriko's reserves. Twilight had watched the process with some interest, making a number of mental notes which managed to find the proper filling area somewhat less aching head. But not as effective as magic, certainly, but workable. But they weren't talking. And as we all know, for normal Pinky, this is out of character. But for Emo Pinky, this is fine. It had been a long day for everybody, though. The narrator would just keep talking and talking and talking and talking, and the reader would just continue to go more and more mad. It threatened to be a longer night. Luna was grumpy. They were on short rations and remained so until they found a source of food. Water hadn't been a problem underneath the waterfall. It wouldn't be as long as Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy could find and wrestle down clouds, although that usually just meant Dash. But no food had appeared, and they carefully divided out a third of what had been between them before sharing it amongst the group. The rest had been grass. Twilight hadn't eaten wild grass in years. Why not? It's sweet and tasty. And it had grown no tastier during the long absence. The others had wound up with similar reactions, starting from Rainbow Dash openly wiping her tongue on her removed salad bag. The rarity apparently asked for just a little more water, please. I swear, Applebot, I should have a mug of flim-flam cider than this rot. And Fluttershy finally decided the real reason the herbivores part of her flock stayed around was just to avoid this experience. I've had good grass, truly I have, Rarity assured them. And Ducky Blue, there's nothing for a nice snack when a lady is wanting a figure before everybody else can get a peek. But this is not it. This is enough to make one think about the meat. See, and several other ponies stuttered. I believe something marked territory on this several times. Starting a fire is marking territory, Noriko started out. At least for some of us. Lily, how's your head? She sighed. Getting there, I can. She checked. Yes, you can surround and lift one of the waiting firewood branches. Handle the basics, but her head twins and moved up the scale from there. That's it, basics. Sorry, I can't manage a shield spell tonight. They're always harder without a structure to anchor on, in the way I'm feeling. Just rest up, Noriko said. I think you tried to do too many things when you're not in the right condition before, remember? Twilight managed a small chuckle. There's no dorm nurse to pull on me anymore either. Rainbow Dash looked briefly curious. Wait, Twilight's gotten hurt trying new tricks? Exhausted easily, Noriko explained. She tried too much for too long before she was really ready and a quick look at her big sister. The smile told her to continue. Was too stubborn to stop. There were a lot of nights in the dorm where she just kept pushing until she passed out. A side glanced at Rarity, another check with Twilight, and one of them was after a differentiation lesson. Twilight sighed. I was so sure I was overlooking something basic. Rarity was intrigued. So, over your full school terms, how many times did you sister and sister together? 9. Noriko laughed, then added, since every year this looks, and the nurse was 2 floors down, and I had to bring the patient office when it was drained because it was supposed to be a lesson to me, so I stopped her next time. But have you ever tried stopping Twilight when she's got problems she wants to solve? Twilight managed to smile. I've gotten better. Yeah, now you usually stagger to bed on your own. Twilight ruefully nodded. And I know better to try a shield spell when I'm like this. I'm so sorry, everybody, but we'll have to stay and watch this tonight. I can take the first one, Fluttershy volunteered, and maybe the last. I'm not tired, really. I can stay up for a few hours to let everybody rest. I can stand the first one, Applebot gently offered. It was a long day for you, sure got our cube. But really, I'm not tired. Well, if you're sure. I'm fine. Okay, but I'll get second. Emo Pinky volunteered for a third. I would have been up anyway. That brought them back to the original problem. So, no donkey stories because some ponies don't want to risk a sad ending, at least in a story. You know, Pinky would be the last one to enjoy a story with a sad ending. Anybody else got a new one then? I know one about Star Swirl. It's all about how everybody beat him up, but then the show decided to ruin him at the last minute. Twilight began, and stopped as the usual result manifested the instant he hit the name. 5 ponies and 6 ponies simultaneously pretending to fall asleep. Oh, come on. One night I'm going to tell this. But not tonight, Rainbow Dash chortled. Oh, and, quietly little, it is night, and we're on a mission, and, Fluttershy had a really long day. I don't mind if anybody wants to say it. The looks passed around the circle, picked up no heat. The one for wanderers? I'll leave a lead, okay? Another circle of glances, this time Dash excluded, and they all nodded. Rainbow Dash got up, stood on all 4 hooves, and looked up at the star-filled sky. Softly, with the voices of the others behind her. Luna watch over us, for we not know where we are. Luna guide us, for we know not where we travel. Luna protect us, for we know who we will meet. Luna keep your wings under your beds at night until waking day, when Celestia will stand her watch. Luna watch over us, for in we know love. She shrank back down, rubbed her wings a few times. It's funny. My dad taught me that one when I was a filly, and I thought, that's another name for moon. Maybe everybody did when they were that young, and maybe they made sure we still learned it. Pinky? Um, author, buddy, it really doesn't work. Like, Even if they knew Luna was at the time, wouldn't they be more scared of what she meant at that moment and decided not to say it and keep some sort of praise going? Nick, are you sure we're in the same universe? Airplane's right ear had gone back, then forward, wriggled twice, repeated the cycle. It was a little radar. Pinky looked at Twilight with those wide, dead eyes, like an Oru's eyes. I said her mouth to wipe away the grass stains. Watched her lip movements from casual side view and mouth to comforting words. They were being watched. But ah, ooh. Wait. I don't need to skip this. This is actually important. She heard the voices at the moment she saw the light. Please be! Then she moved closer, as close as she dared. But these were other ponies. They might have information. Time to bring it out! And there she stayed. There were 6 of them. Voices told her that much. 6. She had a personal record, plus 1 altogether, but almost did not seem to be that much of a pony at all. Probability upon strangeness. She could see the 3 of them from this angle. Her bike crossed low and tall grass, hidden in the shadows of the dark trees. So she was a ninja! The pain was very much with her, and would never leave, and the urge to vocalize it kept thrashing against the barrier of her clenched jaw. But she had not uttered sound since reaching this position. She would not. 3 ponies in her sight at the same time. 2 were Pegasi. One was cyan, and her mane and tail floated with all colors of the prism. Her voice was brash. Trouble staying still. Little shifts of her hose. Vibrations of the wings. What is this? A description written by Batman? A sense of flight temporarily postponed and need to be instantly resumed. She looked at the world as if deciding which part she might want to own. The cueing mark. A tricolored lightning bolt. It's Rainbow Dash! The second. A classic beauty. Fluttershy. You know, normally I'd be okay with this if this was a description, but. And I know this is from POV, but still feels too long in the tooth. Like, you could really shorten this up. Like, let's take Applejack for instance here. The third was an orange mare, muscular and strong, with 3 apples on the flank. There, done. That was like a sentence. All this seems to be excess. If we were describing this as a episode, we'd be here for minutes. Not even novels do this. You don't see a novel saying, for instance, when it comes to Dracula, Harker writing down, there he stood, eyebrows raised, flared nostrils, big eyes, pale skin, long claws. His expression was motionless. You don't see him going on and on and on about description. The description of Dracula's face is like 2 sentences at most. And even in Lord of the Rings, we don't get that much of a description of Aragorn. 2 of the hidden others were definitely unicorns. There had been talk of spells. One was talented. The other was not. And the other one had a Canterlot accent. Please. I call it made in Western. There was no shield spell. And the orange mare's saddlebags were resting on the ground. One was open. As you could see food within. Banquet. Wait. Are you saying shield spells are kind of normal when it comes to camping? Once again, in the canon, there is none. Stop making shit up! But you're not spoken about him. Him who? They said that they were lost. No help to follow them from a distance. But I could listen. I could do the talking if I stayed far enough back. I could at least. No. Following those who didn't know where they were or where they were going was begging to make things worse. Company for a night, company who had never known he had been there. Company with food in an open bag. She was so hungry. Oh God, this is going to turn into a vampire story, isn't it? Was there food? He seemed to have very little, but she was so hungry. Vampire time! Well, I never learned any spells for communications without sound. That's what the spell of silence is for. She heard legends of them. Cassidy's was allow ponies to speak mind to mind. Would you want to read some of these thoughts? But never found one in the library. Spells existed to replicate sound at a short distance, but the sound had to be made first. Ventriloquism was a lost art. Being hit by a spell would sometimes let the target experience some of the caster's emotional resonance. Princess Peace would agree, but that meant being hit by a spell. It required a powerful caster with typically not particularly friendly spell. Sometimes it would be a grumpy one, not something subtle done by firelight. Making plans without tipping out the spy would be difficult, perhaps improbable. Pinky sense. She had to trust it. She also had to check the condition and relative proximity of all available medical supplies whenever it started going off. She never identified a pattern to its manifestations, other than one was said, "Ah!" Except for one. Most typically showed up when Emo Pinky had been, well, not partying for a while. If the baker had strength to spare, no social calendar dates to cross off for the day, that was when Pinky Sense seemed likely to appear. I always thought Pinky Sense came with sudden, unnatural, unexplainable situations. Not guaranteed. This is more probable. All this told her that it took a certain amount of energy to work. The other detail remained an emergency, and one she had almost given up on trying to solve. It's going off now, and it said they were being watched. Twilight had faith in that, and she knew that her medical supply situation was horrible. My father taught it to me, too, she admitted. Raised a hoof to the mouth to wipe away her own imaginary grass remnants. Mouthed, Pony, Pinky. Okay, fix. Stop. What the hell is this? Is everybody else not having a problem with this scene? Let me check the comments here. I checked. Only one person in the comments had a problem with Applejack's racism, and the other people had problems with, for some reason, the pony thinking Applejack was a unicorn just because she was wearing a hat. That made no sense. But Pinky, Pickamina Diane Pie, of all ponies, is detecting a brand new person. A new pony within her range with her little ear sight. Do, do you want to know what Pinky would really do if her radar gave sense that a new pony was in town? Allow me to show you. Polymorph. OMG, I am a new pony in town. I am here to talk and talk. Oh, it's just you, Legend Bringer. Oh, come on, Pinky. I was trying to demonstrate to the audience what happens when you see a new pony. Well, that wouldn't work, but I already know you even through your polymorph spells, so nice try. Druid magic doesn't really work on me. Why wouldn't Druid magic work on... See what I mean? Even if they were on a dangerous mission and one of Pinky's pinky senses detected a new pony, she wouldn't just go, "It's a pony," and start being all secretive. She would be breaking down all those trees to grab at the new pony, hug her, say, "How do you do?" Give her a welcome song, and then give her a cupcake. This is not the pony to be pulling out this whole entire secret. Unless you had a scene, and I've looked at the past few chapters, where Twilight said, Pinky, if you see any pony, keep it a secret. In which case, yeah, Pinky would go, hey, that's a shield. Zip. Where did she get that trash can? Nope, never mind. Maybe they're words for fathers to pass on. You say sons, and I swear I'm gonna bitch slap you. That's funny, really. Verity smoothly acted, stretching her legs and arching her back, loosening it up. Nothing to worry about. Surely not, it wasn't going to lead to fire. Don't check anything. Mine too. He's not exactly a stallion, much concerned with words. Dude, you actually watched the show? See, very carefully did not look at the surrounding shadows. I didn't, Emo Piggy said, but my family was different that way. See, was born this way. Rifle of Hope casually flicked in a non-existent way, but then another, and then another. Then she did the Macarena. Till I adjust the angle, somewhere behind me and off to the left. Well, there's only so much grass to wipe away without. Reluctantly, she captured some more in her field, forced herself to take a very messy bite, just so she could get rid of the excess. She wished she had was more than excess. Hostile? Her lips asked, while her tongue vowed to hate her forever. Pinky gave her a mildly dirty look, because of course she had to do the same. A frustrated, disgusting cue, and then mouthed, can't tell. Again, the real Pinky wouldn't even notice. If it was a pony in the middle of Manhattan, even if he looked like he was a drug dealer with a bunch of knives, that guy would be gaunt. Alright, single pony, somewhere in the dark, watching them. Possibly lost. Potentially a spy. A spy for what? Maybe even, could they be this lucky? The mission. To wrap things up in a single night and get them home. So it was completely impossible. One point, if it came down to hostiles against 6 element bearers with a mecha pilot on the side, but Polyhuman made no offensive move. Y'all knew what was going on now. Had enough experience with Pinky Sense to have some of the more common sequences memorized. And given the number of poorly hidden photographers around Ponyville, where being watched was currently as common as a guy. Oh god, no! Twilight, stop being so suspicious you think that everyone's a photographer. Felt it, split second before seeing it. Magic, uncertain, disorganized, off. Too much caffeine. There was something misaligned about it. That would be your car, Twilight. As it wasn't quite right, as there were some other factors found their way into the Watcher's field. Not so much contamination as a weird blend of herbs and spices. Oh my god, it's an evil Colonel Sanders. Put it down. Eyesight took over. There was a hint of color inside one of Applejack's Applebot saddlebags. He opened one. The one they'd taken some of their dare from. Slowly the color straightened. It was gold, oddly metallic for the hue, pointing Twilight in the mind of Rarity's finest and hardest to make capes. There was a sparkle there, but instead of that white points of twinkling light commonly seen, they were multi-hued. Some reds, a few greens, mostly dark and blue. He had never seen that one before. Ever read about it? And they were all astounded, surrounded with food within the bag. Cautiously, it slid out, skirted around the edge of the fire circle, staying low. How low can it go? I was carefully watching. They all were. Even Rainbow Dash was constantly paying a given lack of attention. I know, Pinky. Rock farmers. The Pegasus continued the conversation. You never told me how it's possible to farm rocks. One of my roommates have... Oh, I'm sorry, it was Rainbow Dash was supposed to be talking about it? Then why didn't you say Rainbow Dash turned to look at Pinky? Or Rainbow Dash looked at Pinky? Or Rainbow Dash then said, secretly, why did you start off with Twilight? I thought this was going to be Twilight's scene. Fine. Time to switch it up again. I gotta know, Pinky. I don't like farmers. The plumber continued the conversation. You never told me how it's possible to farm the rocks. One of my roommates in school, night school, said it's something the ponies do to get subsidy for the not growing food. It's not. And then what is it? It's rock farming. Not particularly faint groan. Pinky. The field suddenly seemed to hesitate at those words. The pool briefly stopped, then resumed. Uh, you know, I've seen a lot of people try to rationalize rock farming, but two things. One, and I want all of you people who haven't figured this out yet about rock farming, I want you all to come closer about it. This little thing about rock farming. I want you to turn your headphones up to the highest volume. I want you to come real close to the screen. Come on, come here, come here. Okay, your headsets are turned up. All right, your headsets are turned up all the way up to the top. Okay. Do you got it on maximum volume now? Do you have your laptop at maximum volume? Do you have your car stereo up, or however you're listening to me right now? Okay. Okay. Good. I just want to make sure that you have it all up. All right. Ready? Because it's really important that you focus on this. Okay. Ready? This is the important thing about rock farming in the show that you need to understand. It's a joke! Thank you. You may turn your volume down to its lowest volume. Okay. That's fine. All right. Did I kill your eardrums? Did I blow your brains out? Did I? Did I? Second, I've only seen it actually explained once, and that was for Gemnos, and I forgot what pick it was. A single pony hungry in the dark. A spy or hostile force that could have stolen all the food, left it to their own hunger. This was just a single apple and some hay stalks, taking just enough to try to live on. Some pony was lost. Try and rescue without adding the blocking hoof, and mouth the words lost to the others. Get a subtle nods in response, but why hide? Actually, why are you guys being all secretive? She has yet to show that she's hostile. She has yet to show that she's an aggressive force. Just say hi! What? I'll, I'll, I'll show you. This could be fixed in 5 seconds. Would you like some food? Sure. There! Done! Scene over! Wait! Twice sprinted together to get there. Themselves. Took 3 steps away from the circle of white tree trunks she had been staying near. My name is Twilight Sparkle. She couldn't make herself add the princess. And you're welcome. I'll see the habit at once. It would take her hours to sort out the actual order. Lyra gasped. Somewhere ahead of her, this one startled, shocked, and pained. It was lost in the sound. Regret, despair soaking through, and hatred. A golden glow, low in tall grass. A purple horn, dark purple, much darker than her own coat. A shade of rarity's deepest dyes. Purple reaching towards black. The flare, the glow reaching outwards. The wave. Woo! Woo! Felt the field before it hit. Felt the raw power, the surge. Raspberry Barrel, what have I been telling you? For a moment, there was a distant sense of agony, not her own, as if she had two bodies with the second connected by a single fine thread. The other end of the silk was on fire. The emotion, behind the spell, impacted her next. All the flavors. The flavors, Duke! The flavors! A single explanation of something else, something so strong the emphatic residue was went through her own thoughts, took over for a single fraction of a second. Hate, self-hate, hate me, hate being want to die, hate, fear is the mind killer. It kept her from cowering. The field had everything. Like every tree, every blade of foul grass, every item somehow behind her shoved all backwards. Fly flew, not the way she wanted, not the way she couldn't, 10 feet straight back. Everything could move back forward 10 feet, including her friends, all their supplies and some of the smaller trees. Broken branches and plants rolled from the ground into fire, now scared and threatening to spread. Gas behind her. Chloe scrambling to get back up, bowling away from the flaming branches and hot cinders. Rainbow Dash recovered before hitting the ground. It was already going up for a dousing cloud. Twilight forced herself to her hose, trying to shake out the intruding emotions. Ran forward again, following the glow that was galloping away into the dark, this time gathering as much magic as she simply could. Magic was going to be enough if something like that came back. To portion. Please! I know you're scared. We can help you. I'm. Well, this is right now to play that card. A princess and. The others were fighting the fire behind her, or trying to get her reoriented. It was just her and the distant unicorn, the one who had stopped moving. She froze to match it. All she could see was the glow at ground level, still pulling the food. And the same round and deep purple horn. Leaves and little shadows hiding everything else. That was the voice came, which it didn't. It was a broken voice. Every word had been forced through the ground grass, calling the interior of the throat. A tongue of barbed wire pushed against Sweat's teeth by acid. It was a voice which said the effort to speak was the worst thing that happened to her life. It took a while for her to speak. Princess, Twilight, Sparkle. There was loathing in that voice. Twilight fought the urge to shudder, felt her wings vibrate. Yes! She tried forcing herself to continue. Please, I can hear you're hurt, and I know you're hungry. Silence! She didn't think about what had happened with the intruder's magic. Tried, limited success, not to let herself think about it just yet. Concentrating on the sound of horrible pain, and the thought it would be just a hurt, so much pain to make many words sound like that. The urge to fix it. You were scared. You were just scared. The power in that spell, the agony. You come out. I'm not mad at you, I promise. None of us are. First, I know some medicine. In Wooded, she could do some things for you. The stuff that she could do with her hose. Ooh, woo! There's a sound, not a single sharp note. Could have been a laugh. She hoped it wasn't. Because it was so much to hear that laugh. Again. Just come out. More words. Horrible, pressured, agonized, thoughtful words. Twilight, Sparkle, Unicorn, Alicorn, Success, the one who finished. Finished what? Please, we won't hurt you. In a tone that made the ground and its glass into powder bone hurt. In a horrible mockery of the laugh. Don't want to hurt. Twilight took a step forward, just a small one, just enough to notice, just enough to scan. The wave, woo, woo, came again. I swear, if that actually made people listening to this do the wave, I'm gonna laugh. She tried to deflect, got everything into her spell she commands, trying to shield her friends with what little she had to give. She did manage to weaken it a bit, enough that the sleep eventually faded out behind her hindquarters. Nuts! Still more than enough to pick her up a second time, flinging her straight back, and this time cutting her horn into the wood first. The last room to go through her mind was backlash. The first day's black clouds ripped through her, took all the light and pain away, and sent her down into Luna's blessed dark. That was a little bit better, but still dull.